días a todos. Bienvenidos a la 12ª reunión de la Escuela del Sur de Internet, realizada conjuntamente con esta reunión de la Escuela Argentina de Internet. La pandemia nos obligó a cambiar nuestra habitual agenda llevada a cabo durante todos estos años, que realizábamos una reunión anual internacional en países de América. Y luego, conjuntamente, cuando comenzamos con la reunión argentina de gobernanza de Internet, se realizó específicamente en Argentina. Este año se decidió realizar ambas conjuntamente con la modalidad virtual. Nuestro compromiso con la educación de conocimiento nos motivó a aceptar este gran desafío de logística. El resultado de este esfuerzo está reflejado.
Saw this as an opportunity to tackle the logistical challenges. And we've managed to organize a conference which we believe will be of the best possible quality. We would like to thank everybody for joining us today. We'd like to thank the organizers and the Secretary of Public Innovation of the Office of the Cabinet of Ministers, and ENACOM, the National Communications Entity, and also the Faculty of Economic Sciences of the University of Buenos Aires, and all the sponsors who are with us today. We'd like to offer the students this opportunity to ask all the questions that they feel could be important, because asking questions is learning. And we'd like to particularly ask the young people working with Professor Norma Moreno, who are making a special effort despite the pandemic situation. The next 5 days are going to be chock full of information about internet and internet governance. Finally, I would like to present two people, Olga Cavalli and Adrian Carvalho, who have made a huge effort to ensure the success of this meeting, so much so that it actually tires me to think of it. They're the true architects of these 12 years of work, which I can imagine that they are getting lots of applause, and it's more than well-deserved, even if virtual. Finally, I would like to inaugurate the 12th edition of the SSIG and the 9th edition of ARGENSIG. Thank you very much for being with us today. And let's get started, shall we? Hi, I'm Nicolás Trota. I'm the Minister of Education of the Argentine nation. I would like to welcome all the students and experts from the different countries who will be taking part in this 12th consecutive edition of the South School of Internet Governance, which is being held together with the 4th consecutive edition of the Argentine School on Internet Governance. This project is a pioneer in the region and, in fact, in the whole world. We've trained thousands of young people and professionals across the American continent and from other countries in in-person format, but now it's become a virtual edition without frontiers, thanks to the pandemic, which is affecting all of us. We are accompanying this move towards a new form of education in these complex times. For us, it's incredibly important to ensure that we train our professionals properly, not only in Latin America, but also in the Caribbean, so that every single person is involved actively in the debates, which are so important to the development of our region and the insertion of Latin America and the Caribbean into a globalized world. I am grateful for the opportunity to be with you today and greet you, and I wish you the very best of sessions in efforts to build and construct the knowledge needed by our continent and our Latin American peoples today. Thank you.
Hola a todos y a todas. Mi nombre es Micaela Sánchez.
Hello, everybody. I am Micaela Sanchez Malcolm. I'm the Secretary of Public Innovation in the Office of the Cabinet of Ministers. Before anything else, I'd like to welcome all the students who are joining us for these training days in a context where information and communications technologies are more important than ever before in terms of access, in terms of knowledge for all countries. And I'd like to thank everybody of so many different kind of backgrounds for joining us. Everybody from these different professional backgrounds. It's so important to be able to get together and debate the issue of internet governance. From the Secretariat of Public Innovation and my team, we've been developing different strategies linked to ICT in different aspects, what has to do with the main guidelines, open government, the promotion of data use in the ministries and also provincial level as regards developing tools to facilitate the more agile use of data at municipal level, to implement digital management system, to manage different kinds of information on the basis of digital signatures, and managing different programs to promote connectivity throughout the country. Based on giving greater value to ARSAT, which is our state telecommunications company, fiber optics, data centers for public administration. And in general terms, this has also got to do with cybersecurity and how we protect our data, particularly state data. In this framework, we have developed a program which is called ARGENSIG. It's about identifying, preventing, and creating contingency before cyber attacks and incidents. And it also advocates for the greater security of information in the public domain. So in this context, in the pandemic, where our tasks, our professional and productive tasks, are more dependent than ever before on ICT, this is why we're holding these sessions today, where also the issues of gender representation, equality, the numbers of professional women working in this area, these are all key areas which we'll be looking at during these sessions. So everything to do with public administration in this area is very important. I wanted to greet you and say that we are hoping that we have some excellent sessions ahead of us. Hello, everybody. My name is Martín Olmos. I'm the Undersecretary for Information and Communications Technology at the Office of Innovation at the Cabinet of Ministers. I would like to welcome everybody to these two events, which are so important, which is the Argentine School on Internet Governance and the South School on Internet Governance. This year, the particular features of the pandemic affecting us means that we have to hold this in a virtual format. But we hope that this will not affect the depth with which we are going to be handling the issues and the debates and the discussions we're going to have, which are so important at the moment. How we build internet, what do we want the internet of the future to look like? What are we going to do about building a truly open and democratic internet, one that is safe for citizens, able to protect our data and our privacy, and how we can do this together? So the challenge is pretty big. But you can be sure that the state will be right behind you in order to continue on the right track.
Buenos días.
Hello. I'm the Undersecretary of External Policy of the Foreign Relations Ministry. It's Great honor for me to welcome everybody, the speakers and the students who are taking place at this 12th consecutive edition of the South School on Internet Governance, which is being held together with the 4th edition of the Argentine School on Internet Governance. It's a great honor for the Chancellery to be with you today in institutional form, because this is a truly pioneering initiative training young people all over South America and Caribbean, dealing with the major issues on the digital agenda, so that we can ensure that the essential activities of individuals, states, and organizations can continue to take place in development. In the context of the pandemic, digitalization and artificial intelligence, the concerns about data security put us in a position where we have to strengthen education and train people about these issues, because these are going to be the key issues of the future and are the most important issues on our agenda today. The Foreign Relations Ministry is proud to support this event, as it considers that training of our national human resources, particularly public administration officials, is of prime importance. We consider it fundamental to play an important role in these issues. Hello from Colombia, and welcome to the latest version of the South School on Internet Governance. I'm delighted to be here with you and know that so many young people are interested in Internet governance. We are in times of great change, and today, as never before, technology is moving very fast. Digital literacy is fundamental to citizens' development, and it is you who are going to be guiding us towards the new information society and will be leading change and the development of knowledge through hyperconnectivity in time and space. We are very lucky to live in these times, which is marked by such a cultural transformation in the context of ICT. Internet governance is a platform for the design of public policies and programs and projects which are using technological tools, digital education, and creating support systems throughout all sectors in society. In relation to the state and society, for instance, we can say that internet governance is what is opening the channels of cooperation to provide solutions to different problems which are vital to the development of all countries. In this sense, digital inclusion, cybersecurity, and e-commerce are specific issues that we must put on the table in order to define policies which can strengthen the economy, education, society, and the digital culture. Internet governance must provide safe and fair conditions to be able to work on internet. It must provide neutrality, safe protocols for use on internet, and all sectors that take part on the working group are going to define how we trade goods and services on internet in a safe way. In the ministry in Colombia, we are working on internet governance in a working group, the CCTL of Colombia, which is focused on the importance of internet governance. We have the Internet Governance Group and Dominion.com, which is the SLDT of our country. And we feel that it is vital in these times to involve public and private sector organizations, SMEs, and all the stakeholders in the economy. We've defined a strategy for 2020, which has several actions. For instance, the promotion, appropriation, and use of domain.com, the promotion of enterprise, internet as a safe place for e-commerce, and the guarantees of connectivity. I should like to reiterate that the base for a good interpretation of internet governance will give way to stronger strategies for the development of public policy, which is why we need people who are fully trained to build bridges between the citizens and connectivity so they can work together to make the most of technological infrastructure and transmit these values and principles to the new generations, working to define new talents and develop responsibility. I would like to welcome you for joining us on this journey towards digital transformation and the information society. Thank you. A big hello from Anabel Cisneros. I hope that we have an enriching session, and hello from ARSAT. Hello, I'm Gustavo Lopez. I'm the Vice President of the ENACOM, Argentine National Communications Entity. And I should like to welcome all the participants on this 12th edition of this vital meeting we're holding in our country, this time in virtual fashion, which has to do with the South School on Internet Governance, the 12th edition, and the 4th edition of the Argentine School on Internet Governance. So in the name of ENACOM, I should like to welcome all the speakers, participants, and students, to everybody in Latin America and the Caribbean who are taking part in this week-long session, so that we can all discuss access to internet, which is a fundamental human right, the access to new technologies, and what has been progress in the world? What have been the advances that can help us to improve this form of access for all inhabitants? Thank you very much. Good luck and welcome. Hello, everybody. My name is Anabel Cisneros. I am on the ARSAT board. I should like to welcome you to this session of the Argentine School on Internet Governance. It's a multidisciplinary area which brings everybody, civil society, private sector, and everybody working on internet governance together. This year, we will be hearing speakers from all over the country, as well as international speakers. So I should like to welcome all those students who will be able to learn from these sessions and understand and meet, even in virtual form, the key actors in the area of internet governance and telecommunications. I will be talking to you about what we do at ARSAT, which is the Argentine State Telecommunications Company. I'm going to be telling you about that. We're going to be offering people living in Argentina greater connectivity. And I will be telling you about the latest news about satellite connectivity and land connectivity and the other projects that we're working on from ARSAT. So, once again, welcome. Congratulations for joining us. And for those who've received a scholarship from the Argentine School of Internet Governance. And I look forward to the rest of the week, which I'm sure is going to be extremely enriching. Hello, everybody. Hello, students and participants. From the Inter-American Telecommunications Commission of the Organization of American States, I greet you warmly to the South School on Internet Governance and the Argentine School on Internet Governance. I would also like to say hello to my friends Olga Cavalli and Adrian Carvalho, and I congratulate them for all the effort they've made to bring together all these concepts at this point so we can hold a virtual session. I'd like to encourage everybody to play an active role in taking part in these panels, because this is an opportunity to talk to renowned experts on ICT in the Americas. Hello, everybody. My brothers and sisters from Latin America. I am Mario Adaro. I'm a judge in the Superior Court of Justice of Mendoza in Argentina, and I preside the Innovation and Technology Institute of Argentina. It's a great pleasure to welcome to the students and speakers to the 12th edition of the South School on Internet Governance, being held together with the Argentine School on Internet Governance. I'm sure these will be very interesting sessions and an opportunity to reflect together on the main issues with speakers about the impact of new and emerging technologies on our society and how we work together in the areas of education, economy, and democracy, and in particular in what for me is an opportunity to reflect on frameworks being developed in the world and what we need in Latin America today so that we can look forward to a joint development of technology and ethics. So I'd like to welcome everybody, and I hope that we have some excellent sessions together. Hello. And welcome. I'm Ricardo Palen Acuña. I'm the Dean of the School of Economic Sciences at the University of Buenos Aires. I would like to reiterate my welcome to the students and speakers from the different countries to the 12th consecutive edition of the South School on Internet Governance, which is being held together with the 4th consecutive edition of the Argentine School on Internet Governance. I'd like to say that at our school, we are extremely proud to be taking part in this pioneering project which in America and the world, which has allowed a huge number of professionals to improve their skills so that they can join the key debates around the world on this issue, which also is going to help them to develop their own knowledges. This task, which we are carrying out today, obviously in the context of this forum, is one of the fundamental tasks undertaken by the school and indeed the University of Buenos Aires through teaching and research. There is actually a huge research task, which is about providing the community with all the knowledge available, which the university makes available to help society. We never tire of saying that we owe this to society. We owe this to our cities, our countries, and the world. And this is why we are working together with everybody else on this project. So I wish you some excellent sessions. And please remember that this School of Economic Sciences Studies is always open to you. Thank you very much. Hello, everybody. As the rector of the University of Buenos Aires, it's an honor and a pleasure to welcome you to this edition of the South School on Internet Governance. For us, it truly is an honor that the school authorities have chosen the Economic Sciences faculty at the University of Buenos Aires as a host. And I would also like to thank ENACOM and the Office of the Cabinet of Ministers and the Innovation Ministry for enabling this event in virtual form. ICT today, Internet, these are all issues which are gaining relevance for organizations, public administrations, and obviously governance per se, either in the public or in the private sector. So I think it's fantastic that we can all meet in virtual form together with experts from the public and private sectors to discuss these issues and the future of how we're going to work together with these technologies on a daily basis so that we can improve the way that we manage complex issues. I wish you a great Congress.
Good morning, my name is Alejandro Giuffrida. I'm the president of the University of Champaña in Mendoza. It's a pleasure to take part in the 12th session of Internet Governance. It's a very interesting agenda for us. We have joined you in previous sessions, not only with the researchers, but with the students to participate, and primarily focus on the opinion leaders in our region to participate in this sort of debates that is strategic. So it's great for the university to take part in this conference and in these activities. So let me welcome you. Thank you for being here. And I know it's going to be a very positive session for all of you.
Hello, I'm Andrew Sullivan, President and CEO of the Internet Society. I want to wish you welcome and also to give you my thanks for taking the time to join this School of Internet Governance. The Internet is, as you all know, a network of other networks, so it presents special issues for governance.
Presenta problemas en gobernanza.
Because in a network of networks, there is no center. This means that the governance of the Internet needs to be multi-stakeholder. Not just because that involves everybody, but also because there is literally no other way to ensure that privately operated networks participate other than inviting them. Governing the internet this way sometimes can seem inefficient, slow, or even very frustrating. But it is the best way to ensure that all the networks that make up the internet can continue to work together to make this marvelous technology that benefits so many people. So thank you for your participation in the school, and I look forward to seeing your contributions to help us all make sure that the internet is for everyone.
Bueno, acá estamos nuevamente.
We're back. Thank you very much. Great. It's a new experience for all of us. Out of the conferences that we held in the past, we can see that these changes in terms of virtual events. It's great to see you in the chat box. I asked for some selfies, and I would like to make comments before the first conference addressed by the ICLAC representative. That is going to be Alicia Barcena Ibarra, who prepared a very interesting information on a video relevant to Latin America and what happened with technology, the pandemic, and Latin America. One thing that I would like to tell you is we would like to have a conference with experts, content, and diversity of topics. Many of you said that it was too long, that it was going to be complex, difficult, that it was a virtual event. However, we discussed it with Oscar and together with Adrian and with our team, and we didn't want to cut any corners on the content or topics or the depth and the breadth that we always had in the topics that we address in the School of Governance. As you can see, it's a long, interesting, and difficult to coordinate event. It's going to be a huge experience. However, we have an interesting team. I feel like a TV host. This is broadcasted live in YouTube in English and Spanish. All the students are in a special room in a Zoom session. You can pick the language, the interpretation. And let me tell you something that is important to all of you. We have remote participation since the year 2012. However, this year, As it is a virtual event, we had students coming from many countries. 34 countries from all continents. We have people from Latin America and the Caribbean. We have students from Afghanistan, Albania, Argentina, Bangladesh, Bolivia, Brazil, Chile, Colombia, Costa Rica, Ecuador, El Salvador, Spain, the United States, Ghana, Grenada, Guatemala, Haiti, Honduras, India, Mexico, Nepal, Nicaragua, Nigeria, Paraguay, Panama, Puerto Rico. Argentina is always at the beginning by sorting this from A to Z, but it's not that I have a preference for Argentina. Also, I would like to tell you that it is difficult to speak virtually in such a large conference. I would like to acknowledge my team in Argentina, Venezuela, Luca, responsible for the videos, Miguel Fernando, that did a very fantastic work, a great job to put on this conference, and the translators that are helping us with the simultaneous interpreter. You have an icon that says interpretation, and you may select the language of your choice. You're going to have simultaneous interpretation into English and into Spanish. You have a special Zoom room for the students where they can ask questions. To the left, there's an icon that says questions and answers, or Q&A. So when we have experts, you may write those questions. And I'm going to hand them over to the moderator or the keynote speaker that is addressing his or her presentation. Let me turn the podium over to Adrian.
Hello, everybody. My name is Adrian Carvalho. I am the director of the Internet School of Internet Governance. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm delighted to be here today, making up part of this virtual event. We've been working very hard towards this over the last 6 months, as we were originally planning to hold it in May at the Economic Sciences faculty in Argentina. But because of the pandemic, we had to reinvent the whole thing and hold it in virtual form. There's been much thanks expressed so far to all the help provided by the teams and people who've been working with us since 2009. We're very happy today to be able to welcome everybody, all the students, and I hope that you can make the most of the know-how that we'll be sharing. And so now I'll be passing the mic over to Oscar. Thank you, Adrian. Well, I'd like to join everybody else with the thanks, because although the South School, the Argentine School of Internet Governance does work on internet, and in fact, we've had lots of people joining us remotely, this is quite a different experience for everybody. Not just those of us who are working in the area of technology, but the fact that is that the pandemic has pushed us all to appreciate just how much technology helps everybody to connect and train and learn, as we're doing today. So it's new for all of us. And here we are, as always. Olga. Thank you, Oscar. I forgot to thank Oscar. Oscar is the father of internet for Latin America. He was a pioneer in bringing internet to the region. He's also a great friend. And also CCAT Labs, the High Technology Training Center for Latin America and the Caribbean, is like our mothership. So I'd like to say that we actually have a book. I've brought it here, but don't ask me to send you a copy because we didn't have a big print run. This is what the Getulio Vargas Foundation produced for us. In Brazil, we have the Portuguese version and we also have the Spanish version. But we didn't, it weighs almost a kilo, so we didn't print that many. And it's also totally anti-ecological, very expensive and hard to carry around. So we decided that this was going to be a virtual book. It's an ebook. You can download it from our page, www.gobernanzainternet.org. You can download it for free. The students have also received some reading material where I've highlighted a few relevant articles for them to read in preparation for these panels. You can download this, you can share it, you can even print it, you know. Well, that's fine if you want to. But please don't ask me to keep you a copy or two because I can't. You can just download as many copies as you like from internet. These are the times that we're living in. So before we move on to Dr. Bárcena, I would just like to give you a few indications about how we organize our program at the school. So what we do is we start with the technical issues and infrastructure, and we move towards social issues, passing through security, privacy, and some economic issues in the middle. So this is basically the framework under which the program is organized. Sometimes it's a bit difficult because, you know, some speakers can only speak. It's been difficult in the past because some of them could only come on certain days, but now it's been actually easier as we plan this moving from the technical moving through to the social. So there's some really interesting issues coming up about infrastructure. One issue which I thought was very important was the whole business about environment. What would happen if we all connect at the same time? What would happen to the environment? I talked to Jorge Pérez Martínez, who I met in Berlin last year, and we talked about this. What would be the consequences for sustainability and the environment if we all connect to internet? Because we all want to, don't we? We want to have everybody connected to internet. But what would happen with global warming? That's at 12 o'clock. And then we have a speech from Bruno Ramos, who's the regional director of the International Telecommunications Union of Americas regional office. And then we have a really interesting panel talking about infrastructure, 5G, and the last panel is on Wi-Fi of the future. You know, remember those jokes that we used to, when I was younger, obviously I'm still young, right? But you go home and you'd ask for, when you arrived at somebody's house, you'd ask for a glass of water, and now you ask for the Wi-Fi code. So it's like Wi-Fi is as important as a glass of water. Well, today our last panel is Wi-Fi of the future, and it's going to be given by people from Intel Corp. So it's all on our page, Internet governance. What else can I tell you? Is anything I'm missing here? It would be good if you want to follow us on our webpage. You can follow the internet governance issues on our social media, SSIG or ARGENSIG or SSIG2020. We've got all these different social media channels and our hashtag SSIG2020. These are different handles, but you can ask us all kinds of questions on our social media groups. We also have our LinkedIn page. You can find it under South School of Internet Governance and also ARGENSIG. And we also have, obviously, our own CCATLAT page. It's a pretty active page, actually. We're always uploading content which is relevant if you want to have a look. So that's just the thing I wanted to say. So the rest of this morning, before the break, we have, as I said before, we have a speech from the Executive Secretary of the United Nations Economic Commission for Latin America and the Caribbean, Dr. Bárcena, who's sent us a very interesting video with lots of information about the region. And then we have a special message from Windsurf for the school. We've always been lucky to have him with us in person. You've probably seen some photographs. When we held this in Washington, he always joined us, and he'd always given us some really interesting talks. And then we have a live contribution from Doreen Bogdan-Martin, who's very important. She's the director of Telecommunications Development Bureau at the International Telecommunication Union. She's the first woman to hold this position in 53 years. So also in itself, a very interesting issue, which is about women in management roles in technology. And anybody who knows me knows that I'm very interested in this subject and have been on it for years. So we're going to have a brief break, and then we will be hearing from Dr. Bárcena.